Millennial pause, and we are live. Hey guys, I'm Wolfie, and today we got a lot of things to cover really in an hour. I mean, we got to talk about the George Kittle extension, which we haven't jumped into yet. We got to talk about DJ Humphries coming to San Francisco 49ers. What does that mean? And then, of course, look at some draft grades the San Francisco 49ers, got from certain people that I was really shocked to read one. I was like, what, dude? We don't deserve that grade. That's crazy. And we'll check that out. So let me go ahead and bring up the chat here so I can see it in case anyone comes in, says a few things or like that. Let me go ahead and bring it up. Hold on one second. Poor start to this show, guys. Absolutely poor start to this show. I tell you what. Poor start. Hold on. Boop and a boop. Bam. All right. Bing, bop, boop, bop, bam. I'm on some shit that you don't understand. Okay, let's go. All right. So, well, of course, we're always brought to you by water. It's really good for you. It's good for your organs. It's good for your face. It's good for everything about you. Drink some water today. H2O. It's the way to go. God, I felt good. Wow, that felt really good. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the latest San Francisco 49ers news that we're all familiar with, that you guys have seen throughout this week. And we'll go ahead and just talk about it because I have not gone live since the draft. So it's been a while. A few things to talk about. Niners for life in the house. Good to see you. Nikita in the house. Good evening, Wolfie and 49ers Empire families. Hope everyone's having a great Wednesday from me and my dad, Michael Catanzaro. Without a doubt, man. It's a pretty good Wednesday, man. It's a pretty good hump day. What's up, Wolfpack? Welcome, Wolfpack. Appreciate the Wolfpack being here today. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't hit that like button already, of course. Let's go ahead and jump right into the George Kittle stuff. George Kittle signing that extension of $76.4 million a year for 4 years, $19.1 million a year. So really, it really was to just beat out what's the dude's name from the Cardinals? I can't seem to think of his name. Cardinals tight end. Why can't I think of his name right now? What's his name? McBride. There we go. Beating out McBride of $19 million. That was a good one. It's well deserved. George Kittle, a lot of people are like, oh, well, he's older, like he deserves something like that. He absolutely deserves that kind of type of contract because it's not more than just like he's a great player. He's also a player that he's the heart and soul of this entire team, not just the offense, but the team itself, right? And that is practically priceless, okay? And if you can get that kind of type of guy on your team that just emphasizes just leadership, happiness, and, not everything's doom and gloom. George Kittle is that guy. He leads by example. And those type of players you pay, especially those who have constantly showed up every single game, in and out, practices, all that it may be. There's nothing about George Kittle where you're saying, okay, that was a deficiency. That's bad there. George Kittle is through and through a true football player. I understand he's 31, but his play has not dropped off. The 4 years thing is kind of crazy. That is a long time, but I've heard that you can get out from this contract probably year 3, year 4, it's easier to get out of his contract. So it's really kind of like more like a 2-year guaranteed kind of type deal. So he's pretty much locked in to be a 49er until he's 33, 34 years old, pretty much. And I'm all for that. I love that. I absolutely love it. I think, again, he deserves this kind of type of contract. And I think the 49ers, he is our 6th offensive lineman, so he does do that. He helps out the play action as well. Like, there's so many things that this player does that a lot of people do not understand. They'd be like, oh, well, you just paid for an old tight end. George Kittle is not is not Mark Andrews. George Kittle is not McBride. He's better. George Kittle is not even your typical Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce does not block like George Kittle does. George Kittle has the catching ability and the blocking ability. It's like having 2 tight ends on the same team. That's really what it is. It's like 2 tight ends roll up into one. George Kittle is unique in his own way, and it's kind of disrespectful when people talk shit about him and say, "Oh, he doesn't deserve that contract. You don't pay a 31-year-old tight end. You know, you wouldn't do that for Mark Andrews and like these other tight ends out there." There is no other tight end that's like George Kittle in the league. They're really honest. He does a lot more than just that. He also does a lot of the blocking aspect too. It's like he's a sixth offensive lineman. It's a pretty big deal what he does. And again, there's no deficiency in George Kittle's game. So even if you overpaid for him, I'm totally fine with that. Even if you're like, okay, he declines in pass catching ability. Let's say his pass catching declines, right? You still got an excellent blocker. You still got a true leader, and that is something you also pay for. So $19.1 million for a guy like that, perfect. Absolutely perfect. And yeah, so I loved it. I love the deal. I think he deserved it. I think he deserved every penny. Some people don't like it. Some 49ers fans don't even like it, but I don't think they understand exactly what George Kittle brings to this team. I don't think they understand exactly what George Kittle actually does inside and out every single day on and off the field, right? What he represents for this team. So, and he's been underpaid for a few years now, so he kind of deserves some back pay as well, if you want to look at it that way. I'm a big fan of George Kittle. I'm glad that he's going to be here for a long time. He's one of those players the 49ers cannot let go of, because then there'll be riots, like getting rid of Luka Doncic pretty much. It would be terrible. So I'm super happy that George Kittle is a San Francisco 49ers for life. He's going to retire a San Francisco, it seems, unless he plays until he's 36, which I don't think he will. But unless he plays past that contract, man, he's technically a San Francisco 49er for life. And I'm excited about it. I'm actually excited about that. I'm glad that he's going to bleed red and gold forever. Potentially a future Hall of Fame tight end in this league. Couldn't ask for a better player. So congratulations to George Kittle and his family, his wife, and congratulations to 49ers fans, man. Like, be ecstatic. Be happy about this. Be absolutely thrilled that, hey, that we're keeping the nucleus together. Like, everything, the players that matter the most are sticking together, right? Like, people were worried, like, hey, we're going to get rid of all the all the players and all the old guys are going to go and stuff. So people were worried that George Kittle was going to go. I told you that wasn't going to happen. I told you, because it's only the players that do not perform, and it's the players that are injury prone or gone, kaput, disappeared. So George Kittle, well-deserved contract there. I mean, and then not to mention, him being 31 years old, like, people thought he would be gone. It's like 49ers are going to keep the nucleus together, like I was saying. Fred Warner, for example, not getting moved or whatever. They're keeping that player. They're keeping Nick Bosa. They're keeping Ayuk. They're keeping Brock Purdy. They're keeping CMC. They're keeping Trent Williams. They're keeping those players that are key to the San Francisco 49ers success, and they're keeping that nucleus together. And that's what matters. You get rid of all the fat as long as you keep the bones and the muscle together, and then you build off that, and you bring it together. And that's what they did. And that's what they're doing now. They have 2 players left to sign. Now there's only 2 players left to sign, and the 49ers are smooth sailing for the rest of this offseason. Smooth sailing. They have to sign Brock Purdy to that massive contract, and then they give Fred Warner his extension, and boom, everything's settled. Everything's all good, right? So, and another thing I want to point out too is, like, Fred Warner isn't going to hold out either. So there's not going to be anything weird or funky with that at all. So this offseason has been just a gift from the NFL gods. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan have delivered an excellent offseason for us 49ers fans, and I could not be more excited about it. Like, there's been the only negative thing that's ever happened this offseason was missing out on Drake Greenlaw. That's it. Everything else was a gift, was something they're supposed to do, was something the 49ers fans absolutely wanted, right? Jake Moody situation, that's still pending, right? Like, that's a thing we'll find out when the day that it comes, that if he officially gets a job or not. That's something you should freak out then. But Drake Greenlaw is the only negative. Everything else has just been just on point and on point and on point. So I'm super happy about that. And congratulations, George Kittle. 49ers for life. Let's go, baby. Let's go. We got some comments. We'll jump into the comments real quick. Let me go ahead and drink some water, actually, because I'm a little winded out of that. Terradome in the house. Wolfie in the hizzle. Hit that like, subscribe, and all. And be sure to check out Terradome. Terradome's got a solid, it's got a solid channel. I recommend it. Well-deserved contract. There were idiots saying McBride was better, and not even close. Not even close, man. Not even close. Dude only scored. It took him like weeks to score a touchdown, man. It took him weeks. Killed 10 times better than McBride and Kelsey. Without a doubt, man. Terradome in the house, showing some love. That's what I like to see. How's your night going, Terradome? We're showing some love. That's what I like to see. Kittle for Congress 2040. Pretty good. A night off is wonderful. Thanks for asking. Kittle's a forever Niner. Also, 100 Mint beat one gorilla easily. They do not. Absolutely not. Average men do not beat a gorilla. Like, at all, dude. At all. Do you understand that a gorilla has feet, has the hands for feet, right? All the gorilla has to do, man, is do the instant spin move thing, put his fist out, do the spin thing. 4 men dead. Boom, dead, boom, dead, boom, dead, boom, dead, boom, dead. And if someone tries to, like, calculate the timing of that spin move, foot, which is hands, by the way, boom, right in the chest, collapse their chests and they're dead. All that happening within 10 seconds, and you already got, 10 men dead out of the 100. Not happening. Also, the gorilla is not standing still. The gorilla is not standing in one spot. That motherfucker is moving. He is moving. He's going to move around, man. He's going to, like, that's just crazy, dude. That's just crazy. The glazing of men is crazy. Like, a lot of people are glazing men a little too hard, man. Okay? Glazing men a little too hard. All right? One of the has shown some love. That's what I like to see. 49ers fan base grew up mad. Their daddy bought them a BMW versus Benz. Credit River, build a bridge, and get over it. I don't know where that came from. That's crazy. I work with Juan. We call him a Niner 1-1. That's actually kind of funny. That's actually clever. That is actually clever. We call him 911. That's actually clever. I like that. I'm doing good, just chilling with my dad on video while his family go wait on work. Nice. Crazy Juice in the house. Good to see it. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't hit that like button already. Kyle Shanahan will never fix the O-line. It's okay. We fixed the D-line. And we picked up Colby, man. Colby is solid. Kobe is solid. Can't wait to see Mikael Williams, Alfred Collins, and CJ West. I'm ecstatic myself, man. I cannot wait to see that group work together. I can't wait to see them just dominate. I really can't. Like, you got two of the best run-stopping D tackles in two of some of the best, not run-stopping, but two of the best available D tackles at that time. Both potential day one starters, dude. I absolutely love the picks. Absolutely love the D-line picks with a passion. George Kittle is the equalizer. The strength of a gorilla is severely overestimated. They can list 1,000 pounds. 100 men weigh around 20,000 pounds. Just a dog pile him and wrap arms around him, his neck, and easy. That's what I'm saying. He's not standing in one spot, dude. A gorilla is not standing in one spot, dude. You have a bunch of people charging. First of all, you have to have a commander amongst the 100 men to be like, okay, surround him. All right. Gorilla will be able to jump over a bunch of men. Not to mention, when he jumps over a bunch of men, and then you'll be like, oh, we'll just grab him. What are you going to do? You're going to try and lift a gorilla. No, he's going to smash your face in. He's going to smash your face in when he jumps out of the circle you surround him with. Smash your face in with his hands for feet, and kill two dudes right then and there, then jump off their faces, smashed faces, and jump over the circle of men. And then, boom, you no longer have that circle. It's not happening, man. If the gorilla was, like, stuck in one spot, I would be like, okay, maybe. But you're not just having, the gorilla's not going to stand there. All right, the gorilla's not going to stand there and take it. All he has to do is jump over the circle on two dudes' domes, jump off those two dude domes outside of the circle, and there you go. That's crazy. Val in the house. Good to see you. I'll give them a B for the draft, but they screwed up and skipped tackle and center again. I disagree. I give them a B+. They did very, very well. There's always something you can look at and be negative and hate on, right, Joe? And I knew you would do that. I knew you'd do that. You couldn't give them credit for anything, even though they completely did a great job with the D-line, right? They did a great job with the D-line. They did address needs. Yeah, you would like some things they would enjoy, but you got to like accept the fact there's some good things they did in the draft, man. They did some great things, and not one thing cancels out the entire draft. That is ridiculous, dude. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. Showing some love. That's what I like to see. Only if Kyle Forster can realize that Brendel is ass. 110%. 110%. I don't like that either. Hey, we got DJ Humphries, who was good like 2-3 years ago. Yeah, I'm not really excited about that because he has the like maybe he's going to compete for like the swing tackle stuff. That might be it. Like he might do the swing tackle things. But I'm not excited about DJ Humphries. I mean, he might be a good backup in the run game and stuff like that. But you are right, man. Like who was good 2-3 years ago? I'm kind of done with the DJ Humphries thing. When I saw that we signed him and a lot of people were excited about that, I was like, why? I was like, that dude's like that guy's just he's just oh my God. The only has to get better if we want to win the Super Bowl. It could happen. I'm not worried. Defense is not good anymore. I do agree. The glaze for Gorillas is insane. 100 men is just too much. It get overwhelmed and tired quickly. You underestimate a gorilla, man. Like you said, 100 average men. That's Mac Jones. All right, that's like Mac Jones. You're saying 100 Mac Joneses can beat a gorilla just because they can jump on top of him. No, that's not happening. The human will is a powerful thing, dude. No, dude. No. If the gorilla understood that this was life or death, all right, that gorilla the gorilla could literally bitch slap your face and twist your neck. Boom, dead. Boom, dead. Boom, dead. Boom, dead. And then he'd be like, a guy comes from the side. He's got hands for feet. He lifts up his feet. Boom, dead with his hand foot. Boom, dead, dude. I don't believe it. I don't believe it, man. I don't believe it. Deion's probably going to start knowing Trey is going to miss at least 2 to 3 games. He always does. That is true. That is true. CG in the house. I emailed you. Get back to me for a schedule. You got available. Of course, I always forget to check the emails, dude. I'm not very good with emails. I'm not. If you got a Discord, I can send you a Discord. We can communicate through Discord. We do that. Yeah, I think that like Trent Williams is definitely going to get hurt, probably miss 2 or 3 games. And our only swing tackle that we really have right now is Pleasance, McKenzie, Alcaron, who's suspended a few games, and DJ Humphries. It's not exactly confidence. I'm not going to lie. Not a fan of these backups whatsoever. The guards, I don't mind the guards so much, but the backup tackles is kind of it's a little iffy. It's a little iffy, but hopefully Hennessy, Zakel, or Nugent can beat out Brendel. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So this offensive line is pretty much the same offensive line that we had going into the Super Bowl, except for we have a better right guard. If you really want to think about it, if you really want to bring it down to brass tacks, and if people are worried about the offensive line, I'm worried about the offensive line too, right? I'm not ignoring that's not a big thing, right? But if you really want to try to find a positive in the offensive line, technically this offensive line is equivalent, if not better, than the Super Bowl offensive line, which was one of the reasons why we lost Super Bowl because of the Chris Jones thing. But like, for example, you got Pooney, who's better than Aaron Banks is, right? Then you got McKivitz on the right tackle. You have Brendel at center, and then you have Trent Williams at left tackle. Now that left guard position, if you don't think about left or right guard, technically the left guard was Burford or the other guy. What's his name? He retired. I can't think of his name. The left guard is either Ben Barch, Burford, or the Colby guy, right? So, or Zakel potentially as well. So technically the offensive line is kind of the same with a better guard, with better guards, but like not that much, but not that much. So there was technically a little bit of an upgrade, right? So it's like from the Super Bowl offensive line, it's just not ideal. It's just not ideal. What I do think is absolutely hilarious. Feliciano, thank you, Jared. No, Feliciano, yeah, Feliciano. The one thing I find hilarious is that it's not off subject, but it's a tiny bit. During the draft, apparently Jed York was like tweeting and things of that nature, right? Apparently he tweeted, "Oh, all I hear is that we should get offensive line." So we got offensive line. In the 7th round, dude, you're going to say that shit? That's not what we meant, man. That's not what we meant, dude. So it's not like, okay, I hear what you're saying. You did technically get offensive line, but we were thinking like 5th round, 4th round, not 7th round. This Colby guy better be good, man. This Colby guy better be a lot more than just a camp body for sure. Saying a statement like that. Hey, we got offensive line, man. Absolute bullshit, I tell you what. But, I mean, they upgraded the most important position at the time. The deficiency for the 49ers was the D tackle position, 110%. That was the number one thing they had to address. Not even offensive line. Like everyone's going to argue offensive line. We need that guard, we need a tackle, blah, blah, blah. There was nobody there at D tackle. So D tackle was the biggest need. A D end was, you could argue, was a second need over the guard position. And they got those top 3 needs, right? They got the 2 D tackles that you absolutely, for the 49ers needed to get. They absolutely got the D end they needed to get, the starting one across from Nick Bosa, who sets the edge, and they got the best edge setting D end in the draft. So, like, they still addressed needs. They still went out there and they got good ones at high end positions. So at least they did do something good, right? And they got a linebacker that they love and believe in. Hopefully he's a day 1 starter and wasn't just a total reach. And, you know, that's my biggest concern. But, you know, like they did do good things. So they did do good things. Humphreys definitely is offensive tackle. Yeah, 110%. He might not even make the roster. Like, let's be honest. He might not even make the roster. Those men aren't armed. That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand that the gorilla could get exhausted. I understand that the gorilla could get exhausted. But it's not like the gorilla needs 4 or 5 punches to take out a guy. He literally can do half strength from his slap would kill a man. A half strength slap would kill somebody. I'm not even kidding. So it's kind of like he could just go basic slap and you could die. He doesn't have to use all of his strength to kill a man. So it's just kind of, you know, and I might get demonetized talking about killing a man, but I hope the algorithm understands what I'm talking about here. But yeah, I agree, Jay. I agree, Crazy Jay. I don't think that's just not happening, dude. The gorilla would just kill you with basic, simple moves. I'll try Discord. All the account was hacked. I'll try to remember the email thing, man. I always forget that, dude. And I really should pay attention to my emails more, but I'll write it down. Check email. All right. CG. All right. I wrote it down. Hopefully I can remember. I mean, I've lost a lot of contacts that way. Have the first 50 me weaken the gorilla, kick, punch, and bite those. But you're talking about actually getting close enough to do that to the gorilla. Now you're talking about getting close enough to the gorilla. And keep doing that until later, half the 100-minute approach, and have them swarm the gorilla. The gorilla's not standing in one spot, though, man. Like, you're talking about, like, the gorilla has to get close enough. It has to get close enough. Like, you have to get close enough to land a punch, to actually bite, hit the thing. I don't know. I actually think that's genuinely wild. That people that genuinely blows my mind that people think a gorilla could just get beaten by 100 men. Pause. I'm genuinely baffled by that. But hey, it wouldn't be this crazy debate on the internet right now if that wasn't the case, I guess. But I wish there was a way we could test it without actually losing lives, because that's exactly what would happen. I'd argue Brendel's gotten worse in the Super Bowl, though, but McKivitz has improved, so it cancels. That is true. McKivitz has gotten better next to Pooney, has improved his play. Pooney is better than Banks, has improved his play. So that is true. But that center position, you are right. Brendel has gotten worse, so that's a bit of a weakness. It's a bit of a weakness up the middle. Yeah, he retired. Fleesaw was a good right guard, but Pooney's better, and I'd argue Barch could be better than prime Aaron Banks, which wasn't really that good. At Aaron Banks' best, he was a starting guard, I think. At Aaron Banks' best, but he didn't always bring his best. He wasn't very consistent in his play. But Ben Barch, he does have that potential. He does have that high upside. He could be a starting guard in this draft. In this league. He could be a top 15 starting guard in this league. He's just got to stay healthy for us to see it. Like, there's potential there for Ben Barch to be an actual legit starting guard. It's just like, dude, stop getting hurt, man. Take some ibuprofen or something. Do something, man. You're constantly getting hurt. Like, we want to see how good you actually are. But I just don't think – I guess we have to now because there's really no choice. But I didn't like the idea of going into the offseason and going past the draft with just Ben Barch, with most likely getting the job with all those questions. There's just too many questions there. But hey, in the end, he could be a top end guard. He truly, truly can. And I'm a big fan of that. We also could have gotten Logan Brown. That's true. There's a few guards we could have gotten, man, to be honest with you. But I mean, at least we dressed some needs on the defense, and Robert Saleh got his guys, right side. Also, Brandon Scherf, by the way, still out there. He is a good guard. Scherf, he is a good guard. He is still available. 49ers could go out and get him. And if we got him, I would be a lot more comfortable, because I do think he's a starting guard potential. So, I mean, technically there's still that. And I think they should go out and get him instead of DJ Humphries, if you were to ask me. But I guess they do need a swing tackle, and they didn't draft one. So I guess that's the case there. Hold on. Why would they need to protect Purdy when we have our Lord and Savior Mac Jones right behind him, says JCK. JCK in the house. Oh, that's absolutely funny. Per Tony on Tuesday's show, we were going to get a tackle, but the Raiders snaked us at picks 98 and 99, Caleb Roberts and Charles Grant. So we went Upton Stout. I could see that 110%. Those were two players the 49ers were definitely interested in. And those were two players that I like that take from Tony. That's a good take from Tony there, because they did show interest in both those players, right? They had one of them come to – one of them was a 30 visit. Caleb Rogers was. So I could see how, like, both your players are taken. So you're kind of scrambling, like, hey, at 100, we're going to take this guy. We're going to take this guy. And then, like, both back to back, the Raiders just fleece your dudes, just right away. And so you're like, okay, we got to take the next best thing. Upton Stout, right? Maybe that's definitely a case there. That's definitely a high possibility. But they should have gone to their next best guard, unless they didn't have anybody on the list, right? If they had nobody left on the list that was guard potential that could start, or tackle potential that could start, so they're like, okay, we got nobody left, so let's just go ahead and take Upton Stout here. And that would explain how far they reached for that guy. That's kind of someone you would take at 113, 138, 147 kind of type deals. So it's kind of sad, but I do like that take. This take, 110%, would make sense to me. Made the new account on Discord. I'm under CG Ruthless, same logo. All right. CG Ruthless, same logo. All right, I'll send you a friend request. I'll send your friend request on there, and we'll do that. One gorilla doesn't stand a chance against 100 Mac Jones. Oh my God, I can't tell if that's a joke or not. I can't tell if that's a joke or not. We need to test out the 100 Man versus gorilla in real life. I know I'd be right. Mr. Beast, where are you at, man? Where are you at, Mr. Beast? We need you, buddy. Real talk. If we had 100 Trent Williams, I don't think we'd need all one. That's what I'm saying. If you had like 100 Trent Williams, though, yes, I think if you had 100 Trent Williams, I think you could definitely beat a gorilla with 100 Trent Williams. I do think that. I do think that part. I don't think an average man, though. An average man, dad bod, right? Okay. Dad bod, some muscle on him, not that athletic, but just somewhat athletic, right? You know, could go for a mile walk kind of type average man. I don't think could do it. I don't think I don't think that's possible. So it just depends upon the man. It depends upon the man. I do think it's possible for 100 men to beat one gorilla. It just depends upon who are the 100 men, right? That's what I think it is. So most experts agree that men would win versus the gorilla. I've seen a lot of people defend both aspects of this argument, man. All right, I've seen some people say I'm a zoologist, or I'm I know a lot more about gorillas and stuff like that. They say a gorilla win. One will say 100 man will win. It's an interesting question. Better question: one gorilla versus 1,000 Jake Brendels. All right, I think Jake Brendel would win at that point. That was definitely a win. In all seriousness, one gorilla in this case. Oh my God, Will Hernandez is available. Oh, there's a good one. That's a good option. I mean, I'll take, like, if I'm the 49ers, man, just like do 49ers fans a solid. Go out and just draft, like, just go out and not draft, but sign every available guard and tackle, and then just test them out. See if they work. Go get Brandon Scherf. Go get Will Hernandez. Go get whatever available tackles out there and just test them out. You might as well. What's so bad about that? Right? You know, you lose like $1 million because they get like a signing bonus or whatever. But they're desperate for a job, man. Give them $100K guaranteed. We'll test you out. Right? Bring them in for a workout. You could do that. You don't even have to sign them. You just bring them in for a workout. Bring in a bunch of guards and tackles that are available for a workout and see if they're good. Like, I will at least do that. Saying. Luke Walsh in the house. Q to anyone. Q. That's a Star Trek. That's a Star Trek reference. Star Trek fans would know what I'm talking about. I really like Collins, but I would have drafted Zach Raku or Ursary at 43. Who should have taken at 43? I like Collins. That's exactly who I would have taken. Who I wanted at 43 was either Talik Williams or TJ Sanders, or if TJ Sanders and if one of the guards like Savanea, Jackson, or Booker fell there. Those were my options at 43. But I absolutely love that they picked Collins. I'm a big fan of Collins. I love the fact that Collins was there. Run stopping was our biggest need on DTAC, on our defense. And Alfred Collins at 43 at the time was the best available run stopping D tackle. So they addressed their biggest need at that point at 43, and I absolutely love it. I like Izaraku. I really do, but we got Mikael Williams already, right? And Ursary, I'm not a fan of Ursary. I was never a fan of these tackles in this draft. I never really was, so I'm glad we didn't get Ursary, to be honest. Wi-Fi, I'm in the house too. Fucking ghost face over here, guys. Ghost face. One gorilla beats 1K Brendel, says CG. The more I learn about Collins, the more likely I would have taken him at 43. I love Collins, man. I think that was a great pick. I think that was the way to go, man. I think that was truly the best thing to do in that moment. But Izaraku, solid dude. Mike Green would have been solid. I don't know about his attitude problems or something like that, so I absolutely love that. I don't love that. I just think the best player available at that time was Alfred Collins, just seeing all the D tackles get taken off the board. I think they made the right choice. Jake in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. The men can handle guns. If they have guns, then, well, that's the thing. It's without weapons. Hand-to-hand combat only. That's the argument. It's not – everyone knows that if men had, like, weapons or something like that, yeah, they would beat the gorilla for sure. But without weapons, hand-to-hand combat, it's done. It's done, son. No way it would take 107 men. We're just 7 men off. That's it. We're just 7 men off. That's all. Absolutely love that. That's funny. And we're showing some love. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. Also, FPFF for giving us a B+. That is an excellent segue into this situation here. Where's that? Boom, 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 and load. Pa! All right, so here is the whole kit. Is this PFF? Yeah, this is the whole kit and caboodle. All right. So this is what PFF had to say about the San Francisco 49ers draft, which I thought was absolutely crazy. Let's go ahead and see what they have to say. Break it down. High floor edge defender round 1. Mikael Williams brings a range of traits for Robert Saleh to work with. It's projected as one of the safer NFL transitions in this class. So it's a safe pick, right? Best edge center in this draft. It's definitely a Robert Saleh pick, right? Especially considering what they've been saying in interviews and stuff like that. Robert Saleh definitely had influence on this draft. Strength on defensive interior. On day 2 and 3, the 49ers added a pair of defensive tackles with plenty of power in Alfred Collins and CJ West. A direct attempt to right the ship in run defense. Love it. Final chance to claim 25% off. Fuck you guys. Oh, can't curse. Gosh. You forgot about the man. I'm like, when I curse, man, it's powerful with me, dude. Like I have very powerful. When I curse, man, it's powerful. And this thing where I cannot curse in lives because of demonetization and all that crap, it's not fair. It's just not fair. All right, it's my power. It's my power. All right. 49ers general manager John Lynch marches to beat the beat of his own drum. Relax. Emblematic of his draft strategy, cutting against the grade in terms of player evaluation compared to consensus rankings. That outside-the-box approach didn't earn the 49ers class much praise in the PFF's draft grades, but it did attack this defense efficiencies and stop the run. So they're saying they did the right thing, but at the same time, they didn't do the right thing. That's pretty much what he is saying. They're saying that the John Lynch did whatever the hell he wants and didn't pay attention to draft value across the league. That I agree with. To me, I think that when they had their board is their board, right? There is no, okay, Philly can take this guy can take here, this is where he's going to fall, blah, blah, blah. No, they have a board, right? And they go, this guy, we're taking this guy here, we're taking this guy here, we're taking this guy here, we're taking this guy here. That I totally agree with. All right, so here's the San Francisco 49ers draft class. I love the Mikael Williams pick. You know, at the time I liked it, but the more I think about it, the more I think about the needs of the run stopping, I thought this was perfect. I actually love it. Alfred Collins, absolutely love it. Nicholas Martin, I like it still. I still like the pick, but I don't love it because you could have just traded back. Even if you didn't want more picks this year, you could have traded back and got more picks next year. So you could have traded back probably like 85, 90, 92, 93 or whatever, and still got Nick Martin around that area and got draft picks next year if you didn't want any this year, right? Same thing with Upton Stout. You could have traded out at 100 at the time and got out of there maybe with the Raiders taking Carlos Rogers and Charles Grant back to back. It didn't give them enough time to accept trades or anything like that because that's who they wanted. That would make sense for that pick, right? If you only have how much time it is with the third round, like 3-5 minutes to make a trade at that point, I could see how they were like, oh my God, those were one of the two guys we wanted. So we had to hurry up and make a pick. We didn't have a chance to trade. That's what it is. But I do like the Upton Stout pick. He is Quan Williams in my eyes. I love what the I love his upside. He reminds me of Quan Williams, and I think he can be that type of player. Just hope. I just hope with his size, it can translate to nickel. And if that happens, they got an absolute steal. This guy, this Upton Stout guy, is a really good player. And if he was just 2 inches taller, he probably would have been drafted sooner. I'm not even lying. CJ West, that's a pick for me. Jordan Watkins. When I watched this film, it was like watching 49. It was like watching a 49ers film. Like the routes he was running looked just like 49ers routes. Jordan James, not a fan of it, like the running backs out there. Marquise Sigel, absolutely love that pick. It's an A. Curtis Rourke, I looked at his film. Big fan of him, actually. I like what he could do. He played on an ACL and still played really, really well. He played on an ACL tear and still played good. So I like Curtis Rourke. That's a good pick. I just didn't like it at the time. I'd much rather take Connor Colby sooner or Junior Berry before him because you don't need a third quarterback or fourth quarterback with what's his name? What's that dude's name? Larry Kruger's guy. Tanner Mordecai. There you go. Tanner Mordecai. So, all right. So that's the draft class there. I think it's a B plus. I give it a B plus. I actually thought it was pretty solid. They also didn't reach for guys that I didn't like or don't believe in. Every guy they reached for, I relatively like. I relatively think they're at least good, right? I think they actually have something to bring to the table potentially. So I like what they did in the end because they at least got good players with every single pick essentially. That's the one thing I like about it. Compared to last year and the year before that where I was like, I don't know about that. So anyway, here is the PFF draft board here. They have Mikael Williams ranked as a 38th ranked player. I'm sorry. Mikael Williams was always going to be drafted the latest 19. Mikael Williams was going to go 19 for sure. Like without a doubt in my mind. I think the Falcons would have took him at 15, to be honest with you. So I think it's a little unfair to give him a little bit a downgrade because of this. But to have him ranked at 38 is actually wild. Alfred Collins from 74 to 43. Just the way the board fell, I kind of agree with that ranking of 74. But just with Talik Williams being taken, then TJ Sanders being taken, you had to take the next available D tackle there. Because after that, it would have been slim pickings on D tackle. This is probably where the D comes from. 307th ranked player all the way at 75. That's probably where it drops off. Probably drops off there. Upton Stout, 197. A lot of people did have projected as a 6th, 5th rounder. Goes all the way to 100. CJ West was an absolute steal. That was a great pick for them. I absolutely love it. Jordan James, I agree, was a reach there. I did not like that one too much. Marquise Sigel, I'm actually shocked that he's at 318. He's a solid pick. I like him. Curtis Rourke. They actually had Connor Colby as a 6th rounder. He got him a 7th round, which is not bad. And then Jordan Bergen there. So, their final grade for this draft, D. A motherfucking D. This is not a D grade. I'm actually shocked. Like, if you want to say because of their rankings of a player, I guess I can see that. But to say it's a D grade with these players, that's actually kind of wild, man. D would be like they got one good player and that was it. They got CJ West, Alfred Collins, and Mikael Williams, right? That alone is a C minus if you just got those 3 guys alone. A D? A D. That's wild, dude. All right, so here's their some of their stuff they're talking here. Rookie to watch is CJ West from Indiana. I totally agree with that. Position role battle to watch, Jordan James versus Isaac Guerendo. I wouldn't say Isaac Guerendo. I would say Jordan James versus like Abikonda, Patrick Taylor. I think that's something you'd rather see. I think that's more of the battle. Because what's his name? Jordan James has got that position on lock. Sorry, Isaac Guerendo has got that position on lock. So it's CMC, Isaac Guerendo, and the rest of the running backs. And that's what Jordan James is going to compete with. So that's crazy. I wouldn't say a D. I don't think I don't think a D is crazy. A D is just being rude. All right. D is just being upset that that the 49ers didn't go off your board. Right. That, like, you can't. This grade is simply off of their rankings, draft rankings, and that's why the grade was like this. Not because of need, not because of what was falling at the time. Because this grade right here, this 74 to 43 was perfect. This was a perfect pick, and I guarantee you they gave them a knock for this pick because they reached when really all the D tackles were coming off the board and they needed a D tackle. So I don't think it's fair. I don't agree with that at all. If you wanted to be rude, if you wanted to be like very strict with this, if you wanted to be strict and you wanted to be an a-hole and just be like a true hater for the 49ers, you would say a C. You would give it a C at worst this draft. I don't see how you can give this a D. I don't think that's fair at all. I really honestly don't. All right. People need to stop spreading misinformation that our O-line is our weak spot. Our line was like middle of the road, while D-line was like bottom 5. I mean, I kind of disagree with that. I do think our O-line, if you meant like the weak spot, yeah, the weak spot was the D-line, especially after we cut everybody. But it was like D-line, O-line, D-line, then O-line. If you meant it like that, then yeah, I agree with that. Eddie Hall versus a gorilla. He would need maybe 100 Eddie Halls. Probably could do it. He could do it. O-line was bottom as well, just not as far as down. Yeah, it was the second. I would say the second to the bottom. Eddie Hall can win. He can stay in the air for 4 minutes. I think 4. You did not just say Eddie Hall beats a gorilla, dude. Stop it. Stop. What do you think a gorilla is, man? That's actually crazy, dude. That's actually crazy. That's actually wild. That's actually wild. Damn, I got confused. Both could win. Where can I find you on Discord? I'll search you. It is. Hold on. It's my tag. I think it's just Wolfie. I think my tag is just Wolfie. 1 second. I know this live just stalled like a mofo. Look up. It's Wolf W0 LFE 007. So it's Wolf 007, but the O in my name, it's not an O, it's a 0. So it's W0 LFE 007. I'd argue the Rams had a worse draft than us besides Chris Paul. I feel like they just drafted a bunch of bodies. It didn't improve that much. What did they draft, actually? Let's look at the Rams draft. I can't remember. Rams draft pick 2025. I'll bring it up for you guys so you guys can see it. Hold on. Bring it up for you guys. Share screen so you guys can see what I'm seeing here. Okay. All right, here we go. They had Terrence Ferguson. I thought that was a bit of a reach there at 46. I mean, if you're a draft him, you might as well trade it back. There was way better tight ends available. That's actually crazy they drafted him. Josiah Stewart, there was next pick at 30. I like this pick, actually. I actually like Josiah Stewart. He's a discount Jalen Walker at 90. I think that was actually a good pick. I think it was genuinely a good pick. I like that. Jarquez Hunter, that was probably a reach there. Ty Hamilton, not so much either. Chris Paul, I guess I like Chris Paul at 172. That's good value, right? I'm not the big fan. You guys know this. I wasn't a fan of the linebackers in this draft at all. There's like 2 or 3 that I liked. But if you're talking about value and potential there and what they're supposed to be, this is really good value right here. This, I don't like that pick either. Yeah, I would say, I mean, they got Josiah Stewart. They got a first round. They did trade back and got a first next year. I give it like a C minus just because they picked up that first rounder so they can really do more damage next year. And they got Josiah Stewart there. They do need a linebacker, so that was clutch. They needed a pass rushing run stop, they needed like a DN / linebacker, and they got a perfect one in Josiah Stewart. So that's a plus. And then getting Chris Paul at 172 was pretty outstanding. I'd say about a C minus, D plus. Yeah, I agree with you, Strawberry. It's about C minus, D plus. C minus, D plus pick draft there. Nice improved significantly defense wise, 110%. Warriors down versus Rockets. Oh, they're playing right now? It's okay. It's okay. PFF just doesn't like these guys we drafted. They don't care if he has improved our team. It doesn't match their board. They don't like exactly. They are high, and they're not smoking the good stuff. They're not smoking like the indica, man. They're smoking like the weed that your friend grows in the back that dries up really bad, and he's like he had it for like a month and didn't refrigerate it or put it in a room temperature place, and like it got super dry, and so like you're smoking it, and it's just harsh, burns your throat. And like it makes you super paranoid, right? You get the high effect, but like it's very dim, but you get the paranoid effect. That's the kind of weed they're smoking. Chris Rourke got drafted by the CFL in the 3rd round. Hey, have him go play in the CFL, right? And then right. He's a Chris Rourke. I actually liked his film, man. He played on his torn ACL. I actually like what he can do. I'm actually a fan. I'm not saying like, starter material or anything like that. I'm not going that far. I'm not going to say, the next Brock Purdy. But if you're talking like potential backup, right, or maybe even more, I kind of like it. Chuck Norris versus a grill. Chuck Norris, dude. But Chuck Norris is not a normal human being. Chuck Norris is like 100 years old. Maybe if he was younger. 100 years old? Dude, no, man. 100 years old is 100 years old. Chuck Norris is for life. I grew up prop 48 one night on and 80% was a D. And what? What? 80% was a D, dude? I would not be able to handle that pressure. That is just way too much pressure, dude. Like, if you take a test with 3 questions on it, that's brutal. It's Shamir, dude. It's Shamir. Yeah, I got to grade your guys' draft. I'm looking forward to that because you guys did not have a good draft. The Bengals did not have a good draft at all. They're definitely the draft losers for sure. Corey Kiner, someone to watch out. I think Kiner will be better than Jordan James. Okay. It's definitely possible because the 49ers do tend to pick up undrafted guys who turn out to be better than players they drafted. It's just how it works. Maybe the formula is that they have to draft a bum running back in the 4th or 3rd round for their undrafted guys to show up. Maybe it's like some sort of ritual thing that they do. I don't know. I agree, CJ. I don't dislike Jordan, but I think Corey Kiner has higher potential for sure. So it's like, why? You're going to set me off. It's going to set me off. I try to leave it in the past. I got to leave it in the past. But you had Elijah Roberts available. And you don't even pick the best available running back. You don't even draft DJ Giddens. Kyle Monange, or Corny Kiner. You pick a good running back. Just a good running back. Not even an offensive lineman. Like reach for an offensive lineman. Reach for one. I hated that pick, dude. Absolutely hated that pick. Curse count the Maple Missile. The Maple Missile. That's an interesting name. Friend grown equals homegrown. They're smoking weed. Someone hit up their ass. That's some jail weed. That is some jail weed. 80 was a D minus. Welcome to my worldwide. That's crazy. That is actually nuts. That is some pressure, dude. That is some pressure. I had anxiety and all, but god damn, that's a whole nother level. So like, what do they? I don't know. I got that's a lot of questions there, man. That's insane. It's 60 or lower, dude. It's 60 or lower. That's an F. That's actually wild, man. That is like some Japanese grading, right? That's some Chinese grading right there, dude. That's not cool. That's crazy. That's actually wild, dude. All right. So let's look at so that's the PFF grading of a D. They got a D there. CBS Sports gave the 49ers a C grade. Okay, that's fine. Like a C grade's okay. Like I'm not going to sit here and say that a C grade is, unfair. Like I said, if you wanted to be harsh about the San Francisco 49ers and you wanted to give a grade to the 49ers and you want to say C grade, that's okay. They did technically reach for a linebacker. They did technically reach for a corner by like a mile. They didn't address offensive line soon enough. They picked up a running back when they could have got someone better. There's things you can poke at, right? And be like, okay, they didn't do this and they should have done this and they reached too much this. And if you want to give them a C, that's fine. But D, like that is just way too far, dude. Way too far. I don't think that's fair. But C, fine. But that's the lowest grade I want to see is a C. That's it. Also, this might be weird. This might be a little weird. But this guy right here, this Junior Bergen guy, when we first got him, I was like, buns, terrible, trash. Why did we even do it? If you actually do your research, man, this guy's a really good kick returner. I mean, absolutely elite at his job. And every 49ers fan knows, a true 49ers fan knows that a kick returner, punt returner was like one of the biggest needs of the San Francisco 49ers. Like sneakily, one of the top 4 needs was a kick returner. And we got theoretically the best one in this draft with pick 252. This is a sneaky good pick. This is a sneaky good A pick right here, without a doubt. This does not deserve a C-. Like this guy is a true kick return. I love this pick. At 252, this is where you get those steals, those guys who do those underrated things that no one really talks about. Junior Bergen deserves a better grade than that. That deserves an A because every 49ers fans know that a kick returner was the 49ers' biggest need. So we got a C from CBS. But I think the one that's interesting is that the NFL, who runs the NFL, let's bring it up real quick. Share screen. Boom. And boom. Okay, look. This is the NFL. All right, I'm gonna listen to NFL more. NFL knows what they're talking about. All right? Gave us a B+. Love it. You love to see it. A B+. And I agree with that. I like that. They gave us a B for our day 1 grade. I disagree with that. They gave us A+ for our day 2 grade. I am genuinely shocked by that. I thought they would probably give us a lower grade for day 2. And then they gave us a day 3 pick, a B+. They're very kind. I feel like they're being very kind with the day 2 grade. I think they're being a little too harsh on the day 1 grade. I'd almost flip that. I would almost flip it. I would say day 2 is a B, and I give A+ day 1. I would flip that, really, to be honest. And I give this more of a B, more like a B or B. I guess B+ is not too bad. So far it's mixed reviews when it comes to people online. So right now we got what? A D. We got a D grade. We got a C grade, and we got a B+ grade. So theoretically that put us at what, like a C+, an average of like a C+ there. That's about our average. Would be about a C+. So that's not bad. I mean, consensus is C+. That's not bad. I mean, that's pretty good. It could be a D. Could be an F. Could be absolutely atrocious, right? But also a lot of people need to keep in mind, man, that, these grades don't necessarily reflect what these players are actually going to be. And I don't have to tell you guys that. You guys know that for a fact. Like, these draft grades, like, don't really matter to a sense. It's just more of it's kind of like what me and Terradome talked about when we talk live. When someone says like, you don't know who's going to be good, you don't know who's going to be great and stuff like that. It's true. You really don't know who's going to turn out to be the best. Like for example, Pooney got a terrible grade. That was a terrible grade, terrible pick. He turns out he was the best offensive lineman that was drafted. So it's just more of like, for the sake of conversation, it's more for the sake of people's initial reactions, initial opinions, how you feel about a player, and then as the next year comes along, you compare and see who's right, see who is wrong, and it creates that conversation. So a lot of these grades don't necessarily matter at the end of the day, at the end of the year, because you don't know what these players are going to be. But it's definitely fun to have this type of conversations to see who thinks what of certain players, who thinks what of potential as well. Did they do the right thing? Did they didn't do the right thing? So it's not the end of the world is what I'm trying to say with these draft grades. A D is a bit harsh, right? But they could turn out to be right. They could be right about this, that these players weren't good enough, shouldn't have done it. So like the D could be correct, but the B plus could also be right. So I give it a B plus. I give the draft a B plus. I think that it was solid. The thing that really kind of takes it to a B plus to me is that compared to last, right, where they drafted players that you're not familiar with, or they drafted players that they shouldn't have gotten, right? They drafted players in this draft where it was not only a position of need, but when you look at the film, you actually like the players. They drafted players that you would genuinely like. So that's kind of where I look at it. So hold on. Let me bring up a poll for you guys. Why don't we bring up a poll? And I guess we don't need an F. So let me pause this real quick. All right, there you go. I put up a poll for you guys so you guys can vote. All right, and there's it's gonna be like 8 people or whatever, but I like to get a good consensus of what you guys think of the draft itself. But Renard Green was like a 50 spot reach. He was considered a reach. A lot of people said, "Oh, you could got him you could have got him at the late third round. You could have got a third round, fourth round type thing." We ended up getting to the back end of the second. So exactly, you never know what these players are going to turn out to be. But it's just good to have these conversations, just talk about it. What do you think of the player? What do you think potentially of the player? Was it something they should have done, shouldn't have done? It's a good conversation. Salvador in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Bang, bang, not a gang. Oh, I got a coffee grain in my mouth. Jeff in the house. Wolfie, what's up, man? What's up, Jeff? How you doing? What an incredible draft. I didn't get to tune into your live during it. Was just to invest in the draft. My mock papers, writing stuff down. But hell of the draft for Niners. It's all good, man. It's all good. You were there from the heart. You were there from the heart, man. From the heart. But yeah, you're committed. I tell you love the draft, man. You're committed, man. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. You were there in soul. Mikael Williams, I called it, man. Did you? Did you call it? But hey, if you did, good shit. Because I didn't call it. I thought it was going to be like Walter Nolan or Mike Green. And if Membu fell, it's going to be Membu. Something like that. But no player fell, and they picked Mikael Williams. I was actually genuinely shocked by the Mikael pick. But good call, man. Good call. Good call. I like the draft too, man. I thought the draft was really good. I actually enjoyed a lot of these players that they picked up. I thought they had a phenomenal draft. The only thing that I wish they did was just address offensive line sooner. That's like my only. Ronald Green was a fit spot. He was third on my board for us, but after thinking about it, he was the clear and obvious pick. There are plenty of D-tackle depth later, and the edge rusher depth, edge setter depth wasn't good. We needed a blue chip. Exactly. That's 100%. Like, there's not really like edge setting DNs at that point. Like later on, you could like someone like, Elijah Roberts is a good edge setter. Could have got someone like Joshua Farmer, something like that later on. But top quality wise, Mikael Williams definitely. I agree with that. Remember, I said Nolan or Mikael. I thought you said like Nolan or Pierce or something like that. But 110% though. Like hey, if you called it, you call it. I believe you. I believe you. I believe you. I believe you. Larry looks so bad right now. yeah, he was. Larry Krueger was so upset, dude. I watched that video. I thought that was so funny. I was like, at least he's getting views, right? At least he's getting likes, man. He's getting some views, right, on the bright side. But because I had to go back and watch it, and I thought to myself, that's actually hilarious. Like the one guy Larry Krueger did not want to draft, the 49ers end up drafting. I absolutely love it. And thank God it wasn't Shamir Stewart. I would have been so upset, man. I would have been so pissed off if we drafted Shamir Stewart. I would have reacted a lot more harshly. So thank God it wasn't Shamir Stewart. But apparently the 49ers wanted him bad. They were even willing to trade up to get him. This was their guy from the start, from the jump, at 11, which is interesting because they didn't show so much interest in the guy. So it was good. They kind of hit it a little bit. But, yeah, man, I thought Larry Krueger's reaction to the entire thing was absolutely hilarious, dude. He's warmed up to it. Like, he's kind of accepted it as of late. He's kind of been like, maybe he's not that bad. Well, maybe he's good. We'll see. As of late, he's kind of warming up to it. People are finally convincing him this was a pick. But I tell you what, when we drafted him for like the next 2 days, like from day 1 to day 2, he was bringing on people that weren't a fan of Mikael Williams so that they would help convince everyone else. They would talk like that Mikael Williams should have been the pick. He was doing everything he can to try to convince everybody that this was a trash pick. And everyone's like, nah, dude. Even his own son was like, no, dude, this is a good pick. Like, there's nobody agreed with him at all, dude. It's actually quite hilarious. So it's just that I will definitely say that Larry Krueger was like the first person I thought of the moment we drafted him. We drafted him. I was like, oh my God, Larry Krueger's aces, dude. Oh, it's funny. Larry, a couple days ago, made a video saying, well, I watched Mikael versus Texas against Kellen Banks, and he had 2 sacks. There's no question about some tackle over games and potential before Larry. 110%, man. 110%. I love him, though, man. He sticks to his guns, man. If he believes in the guy, he believes in the guy. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Even if it doesn't make sense. Even if it doesn't make sense. Larissa Mikael didn't have a lot of stats, and then now he's like, yeah, okay. It just took enough drilling, took enough peer pressure, make it happen like, hey, dude, this guy's actually good. I don't know how Larry can hate on Mikael and then thirst for Shamar. Mikael is Shamar, but with actual production, better run defending, and even better pass rush. Like, better, like, he had more sacks. He had more tackles for a loss. He had, what else do you have? He had something else that was more than it was tackles for a loss. He had 3 things that was more than short circuit. And Mikael had more. He had an ankle injury on top of the scheme, which forced him to, what was it? The scheme where he has to he's taken out and put in rotational piece. So like he had 19 less snaps on defense, if I remember correctly. So with being like 75%, you could argue 50%, still outperformed. He had less tackles than him by 10. That is it. Whoop-de-fucking-do. All right, whoop-de-do. He had 50 less tackles. He had 10 less tackles. He had more sacks. He had more tackles for a loss. He did the things that were more important, more than him. Oh, my God. Mikael's ankle might be the main reason why the 49ers drafted him. That was some Fred Warner type shit. Untempered. That is true, dude. That is true. That is some Fred Warner stuff right there. And it's also the fact that, like, people were, like, it didn't hold him back. Like, it didn't like he go out there and he did absolutely nothing. He went out there, still got with the ankle injury, still performed. Not to mention, he didn't re-injure that ankle injury to the point where, like, he's not going to be able to start day 1. He's going to be a day 1 starter. He's going to be ready for mandatory OTAs. He's going to be ready for training camp and all that. So it's not like that's not like they drafted some injury-prone bum, right? They draft a player where it doesn't matter the injury, he's going to play. They want to draft a guy who absolutely loves football, and in my eyes, I think they did just that. They drafted a guy who absolutely loves football. And, yeah, the more I think about the more I think about Mikael Williams, the more in love with it. I love this draft a lot. The only thing The only thing I wish they can somehow fix, and I hope somehow Ben Barch is the answer, right? And I hope that Nugent, Zakel, or Hennessy can beat out Brendel. If Ben Barch starts week 1, and he's good, actually, he's consistent week in, week out, and if Hennessy, Zakel, or Nugent can beat out Brendel at that center spot, I'll be a lot more optimistic about the offensive line. But like I said before the draft, though, there was just too many what ifs. That's a lot of what ifs involved there. It's too many question marks happening there. But it's definitely possible that this offensive line could be a lot better than we expect with that Ben Barch potential. He's just got to stay healthy. And then the centers that are backing up Brendel, right? Especially if we think that Brendel gotten worse. And if Brendel got worse, how much better does Nugent, Hennessy, and Zakel have to beat out Brendel? So there is optimism. There is some potential that this offensive line could be a lot better than we think it is. But I would be a lot more happy if they drafted a guy a little bit sooner, or if they pick up, they can still do this. If they go out and pick up like someone like Scherf, right? He's a guard, and he's a good one. I actually think he's a good guard, still out there in the market. If they traded for one that potentially could be available out there, something like that, I would be a lot more comfortable. But if that doesn't happen, which probably won't, there's a potential there that this offensive line is better than we might think it is. So, like, it's not the end of the world. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and bounce. I kind of want to do the longer show, but I have to go get some dinner. I have to go get some groceries, actually, too. I have some things to do. I have to walk the dog. She has to get going, but people keep afraid free agency is over. We can still improve. Exactly, it's not over yet. There's still potential players out there that can help out this team. There's still some good players out there. Definitely is. I love the Alfred Collins pick to actually had him mock to us in my final mock draft. I printed it out. Yeah, he was someone I would mock to the 49ers as well. Someone I actually liked a lot. At 43, though, I don't know about that, but we got him. We got a guy we definitely needed. Alfred Collins was a good pick. That was an A pick to me. Mikael Williams is an A. Alfred Collins is an A pick. That CJ West pick was probably the best one. That's an A+ for sure, without a doubt. So, without a doubt. All right, guys, I'm going to bounce. We have 17 people in here. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button. Support your boy. Jeff, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to go live again tomorrow at 9 a.m. with Terradome for the Wolfie and Terradome show. We'll have a lot more conversation, break down a lot more stuff. Salvador, peace out, man. Thank you so much for being here. Support the channel, man. I can always count on you to be here. Jeff, of course, as always, you being here too. I appreciate you, man. I'm glad we got your guys, man. I'm glad the 49ers listened to you, man. They took your draft board, and they were like, let's get these guys. These guys are good. I'm glad you got the guys. Yes, he was A+. Juan, thank you so much for being here, even though we disagree. That 100 average man, could not beat a gorilla. That's absolutely wild. But I appreciate you coming here. Great conversation, as always. Val's an OG. Always thankful that you're here. Terradome, per usual, man. You're the best, man. Go sure to follow Terradome. It's a great show. Jake, thank you so much for being here, too. Support the channel. Good conversation. CG Ruthless. I sent you. I told you my Discord. Send me that in Discord. We'll make it happen. We'll make a show happen. Who else am I forgetting here? Wi-Fi. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. JCK. Good to see you, man. Appreciate you being here. Support the channel. Luke Walsh. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Crazy Juice. Thank you so much for being here. Joe Boyd. Thank you for being here as well. I appreciate you. And Niners for life. Thank you so much, Nikita, as well. I appreciate you. You guys are the best. Everyone who watches this later, be sure to sub if you haven't subbed already. Support your boy. Be part of the conversation. Be part of the Wolf Pack. Get with the huddle and just have a great conversation, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Just having one big conversation about the sport we love. So thank you guys for that. And be sure to like the live, because every single like makes my 49ers heart grow from here to here. All love, fam. I'll see you next video. Bang, bang, not a gang, baby.